but I really love what I do, and I'm a worker. I'm not a business owner. I'm a worker bee, and that's where I thrive the most.
How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
But the point is you have two
Yes, sir.
people. You have yourself and you have an assistant.
For
Is
now,
that
but it's not
the
where I
employee
want
base
it
of
to
your
be.
company?
So, right,
No, I understand it,
right.
but for now it's two, maybe three, going forward, maybe four or five. But that what I'm getting at is that would definitely
Absolutely.
be considered a quote small business versus a medium-sized
No,
business, which would
I have
probably
no
be
intention on doing
800
that.
employees, let's say. No, I know that. I know. I'm just trying to get clarity. Remember, Jackie, as we speak here, the audience really doesn't know
Right.
left from right relative to what you do and how you do it. So I also don't either. I before you and I started
Mm,
talking today, I didn't really even know what you did. So you told me when we met, but hey, I'm 65 years old. I forget more than I remember. But at the end of the day, you are a business person and you're a hard worker. And I can tell you right now that is a great formula
mm.
for success in your business, regardless of the size of it. It's a great formula, and it may work out to where you're going to be working in the business until you retire because you're very important. So, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. But you do have to have that work life balance, and I'll leave that to you to figure that out. And it sounds like you are. Derek,
Yeah,
what
I
are
mean,
your
my
thoughts on
thoughts
what
are
we're
I want to
talking
hear
about so
kind of
far?
from Jackie what it looks like to serve the customer, right? Jim spent a lot of time in our last episode, and I'll link to it, up here if you're watching the video. But just Jim talked about the importance of having a clear sales process, right? A process you take people through, not just the process of moving a title through the process of closing, but also a way that you serve people. How do you see those things linked in what you do every day, Jackie? I know there's a lot of people who are listening who are, salespeople, entrepreneurs, run their own business, or are part of an agency, right? Or working with a team, right? This is the process of, I want to hear about the logistics that you do, but also what are the people focused pieces of how you serve people? So go ahead and speak to that. I think it'd be great to hear
Well,
about. Yeah.
my biggest thing that I always, pardon me, try and hammer home is communication.
Mm.
Um, in helping folks, even if we are not processing their transaction, I have clients that call and say, Jackie, well, let me run this by you. And having the resources and the education, and I always say, if I, even 30 years in the industry, if I do not have the answer, I will find it for you and get back to you in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, solution
Mm,
providing, right?
Excellent.
I know Jim hits on this a
absolutely.
lot. Like
Yeah.
we are solution providers, right? And so,
Yeah, we don't have to be the best. We just have to be
Yep.
better. And if not, learning, like Mr. Shorkey was saying, just, constantly, I think, keeping our minds open, never getting set in our ways, because the industry, real estate, is constantly changing. The rules change. Um, you have to keep an open mind and move forward.
yeah, I mean a big part of rethinking sales is
Yep.
taking time to rethink your approach to not just, we started this because we really wanted people to rethink about how they approach sales. Some people think salesmen, Jim said on one of our first episodes, get that idea out of your head that, you're some sleazy salesman. That's just not true, right? That's not who we are. That's not how we live our lives. But that doesn't just impact the way we interact with the customer, the way we serve our team. It also impacts how the health choices we make, right? The food that we eat, the time that we spend with our family or don't spend with our family, the goals that we
Right.
set or don't set, the
Yep.
plans that we make to grow our business or the plans that we don't make, right? So
Mm.
a big part, I think you're telling us a lot about the goals that you have, right? I hear it, Jim. I hear Jackie saying, I have a goal to bring on another team member. That's going to impact the way that I sell title insurance, the way that I serve clients, because suddenly you have another resource at hand, right? And guess what that does? It allows Jackie to have to do one less thing, which allows Jackie to focus more on the business than in the business. Probably not right away, but there's a piece that
Oh,
allows you to be less and less hands-on as things grow and as things evolve. And that's really holistic approach to, rethinking sales is there's way more to this. And Jim and I can't wait to dive deeper and deeper into, the sales process. But I think these first few episodes are really meant to remind people that there's way more to sales than just the sales process. And I can't wait to deep dive into, those things deeper. But it's really neat to just hear your experience, because I'm sure many people are, they may be a team of 3 or a team of 5 or a team of 7, right? And they're trying to figure out, how do we scale? How do we grow? We hear Jim talking about how he's grown, to 800, 900 employees. Well, that's not me, somebody might be saying, but you're listening to Jackie sitting here with us, and this is her experience, right? And as you learn these success habits, these disciplines in your health, in your marriage, in your sales approach, right? And how you dress and how you work, they start to form character, right? Character that has the wherewithal, that has the resilience to serve people well and to keep going day after day, right?
Derek,
Yeah.
I once heard the definition of character is who you are when no one is watching.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a good
and I'm
definition.
married to a salesman.
Yes.
Well, and so I hear this a lot in the world of, I don't want to be salesy, and I don't want to be salesy and this kind of a thing. Like I don't like being sold. I don't like selling. And it's like, well, why not? How do you think things get done? I love being a salesperson. Always did. I've been selling my whole life. I love selling. I love the gratification that I get from selling people stuff. And by the way, selling people stuff doesn't mean that they buy the stuff. My job is to sell the stuff, and then their job is to buy the stuff. And so just because I'm selling 10 out of 10 clients my stuff, whatever that would be, doesn't mean they're all going to buy it. But I still have to make the effort to sell my stuff, to create value with my stuff. And so, the idea is, when I sell, I want to have a transfer of value. I want to create this value, and I want to transfer it from me to the client. And the more value I can transfer from me to the client, the better chance I have of selling and actually closing a deal. But the fact is that I don't close anywhere near every single person I talk to. In this case, a car. I don't. It never did work that way. It was more like probably around 40 to 50%, which meant that, 50 to 60% of the people that I shook hands with didn't buy from me. They bought from somebody else. But I had to go full blast with my creation of value every single time. And that's really what there's a lot that we're going to be talking about as we talk about sales. But the idea, when we talk about rethinking sales, a lot of salespeople take the attitude that they only want to talk to buyers. And what they miss with that is that everybody is a buyer, every single person. And if you don't create enough value to where the client says, well, this is a $10,000 acquisition, but man, I'm seeing $12,000 worth of value. I'm going to make a decision to buy this product. And so our job as salespeople is to create that value in the client's mind 10 out of 10 times, and then let the chips fall where they may. And so many people miss that. And just because the client says, I'm not buying today, doesn't mean that that's the real deal. That's just a natural reaction. So we have to create the scenario with our sales process that says, okay, we're going to do the sales process every single time, and we're going to create as much value as we can every single time. And then we're going to sell a certain percentage of these people, in this case, a car or a house or whatever the case may be. And that's why when people say to me, well, that's too salesy for me. Well, then you're probably in the wrong job, because I don't want you to lower your selling, excuse me. I want you to increase it, And so anytime we're trying to spread a message, we have to sell that message. Yeah. And that's just what I believe. And that's what I teach. And, it sounds like it's maybe high pressure. It's not high pressure. It's high value selling. What can I do to create as much value as I can for the client that's on the other end of the table, so that they really can't walk away from the offer? And if they do, that's fine. That's why we have a freedom in America, and we can make our own decisions. And quite frankly, most people do walk away, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But
Makes
I'm still going to give
absolute
them
sense. I think it allows you to put your very best foot forward as you serve people, right? I think, I've always heard you say, Jim, I want to serve the person right in front of me, give them my full attention. I'm fully present, right? And I've done my very best to tell the person, here's what I have. If they don't, if they don't want it, they can go elsewhere. But often it's showing people that we want to be engaged in that relationship. Jackie and I were talking about this before the call, just the importance of engaging in the relationship. And Jackie, you were talking about character. I feel like there's a lot more depth to your character, in the sense of, I know you just don't sell title insurance. That's a piece of one of the hats that you wear, but you also have another piece to what you do, a nonprofit that you're a part of. So tell us about Blue Star Mothers and what that's about.
Well, yeah, there's the deep emotional part of my life, who became my passion. My son is in the military, my one and only. And in 2019 was his first deployment. Insert Blue Star Mothers.
Yes.
I was lost. I mean, I was lost. I had no idea. His father said, "You qualify for a Blue Star Mother." And I go, "What is that?" So I started doing my research. I have now a network of mothers and grandmothers and aunts and stepmoms that it's like none other. So we can support one another, because deployments are not fun for anyone, and we feel it, and we're here on the home front. But also we get to be the hands and feet while our children and loved ones serve, and be with, be amongst veterans and help support them in various financial ways, whether it's going and spending time with them, sending care packages. We're getting ready on September 17th to do another deployment care packaging event. We usually send about 200 care packages overseas, and that's for deployees, not if I said my son was stationed in Korea for 5 years. It's if they're actually deployed, and sometimes we actually get notes or a picture of when they open these boxes, because it's a taste from home, a ketchup packet, for gosh sakes. Things that we just take for granted. So the Blue Star Mothers, they were founded in 1942. A grocer decided to send out coupons to the mothers of those who were deployed, and the response was astounding. And so there you have it, the birth of the Blue Star Mothers of America. And we do have a local chapter. It's the local PA 16 chapter. And we have some others come down from Erie, some up from Greene County. So that's part of that's a big part. And I share that. My clients know that when you walk into my office, you see pictures of my pride and joy. And I am very, very proud of our country, and I support it regardless of who sits in the chair, and runs it. I support our country.
And first of all, thank you to your son for his service. I'm very, very grateful for that. And thank you to you for all that you're doing, and the ladies, and I'm sure ladies and gentlemen, because let's face it, as a father, if my son or daughter is deployed, I mean, that's a tough thing. So we're grateful for what you do, Derek and I, we really are. And so that's really, really neat. And we ask the question all the time, does your reason why make you cry? And clearly it does. But that's what drives you forward, because some of the stuff is really, really hard to do. And what I would say, first of all, it's very clear that you're very passionate about the Blue Star, and that's really, really evident and apparent. And again, we're grateful for that. And what I find in life is that we have to have that same level of passion about literally everything we do, in terms of reinventing ourselves and becoming better versions of ourselves. And so in my world, I'm working very hard on my health. I'm 65 years old, and I did a lot of stupid crap when I was in the car business, which led me to bad health consequences. And so I'm working very hard on trying to fix that, but I've got to be passionate about it. Otherwise I cave into the, the Big Mac versus the spinach. Right. And so I'm very passionate about that. And I'm very passionate about, my family and my wife and my children. So my wife and my children are my reason why that I want to be healthy, because if I can make myself healthier, then I can be here longer to spend time with my wife and my children and my grandchildren and all that. And if I'm unhealthy, well, then I'm probably going to leave this planet sooner than I needed to, and I miss a lot, right? So to that point, does your reason why make you cry? My father died when he was 63 years old. My dad, and that was 1996. I still miss him, but he died at 63. I'm 65, so I mean, it's to say, well, I'm not going to be dead at 63 or 65 or whatever. I mean, it happens. It happens a lot, and because we as a society, um, blanket statement, admittedly, but we don't necessarily take very good care of ourselves. And me, Jim Shorkey, guilty, 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 guilty. So no matter what we do, Jackie, and I want you to speak to this. No matter what we do, it doesn't matter what it is. We have to have that passion, and we have to have that reason why we're doing what we're doing that makes us cry. And so uh, I'd like you to speak to that. It's clearly it's obvious about the Blue Star, and again, thank you for that. But I'd like you to speak to that more about that with your business, and does your reason why make you cry relative to the business? Maybe not the same as Blue Star, but does it make you cry? Are you emotional
I
and
am.
passionate about
I
your business in a similar
a
fashion?
little bit of background about me. I don't. I have a business because I love what I do. I don't have a college education. I started doing this in 1991. I moved to the state of California, and I worked for a huge title company out there and got my feet wet, learned, and I forget the what you said earlier, but I think it was Derek and I speaking. But I remember looking at the lady who interviewed me, and she says, "Well, what do you want to do in this company?" And I just said, "Well, I want to have your job one day." And I always think about that because I always was
Excellent.
curious, like, teach me
Yeah.
more, teach me more. What can I learn? And
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, yeah, my clients will say I wear my heart on my sleeve. I don't think I'll change that about me. I think
No,
people
no,
need
no,
to
no, no,
know that
no,
we
no.
care
Never
about
change that.
them. And
That's
that's
great.
another thing I was talking to Derek about. Whether you have $1 million home or whether you have a $10,000 home, you are just as important to me. In that you're not a number. You're not. It's, oh, I'm going to make money
Lovely.
on this. That's just a bonus. If